Welcome. Thank you for inviting me into your living space. Man, thanks for letting me in your space. The other day Donald Trump was getting in Hillary's space. Remember that when he was like intimidating her walking around. That's what cowards do. That's what bullies do when they want to intimidate their prey. They walk around them like, oh man, he's such a scoundrel. Well, welcome to Psychic Frank Heals. I'm PF Psychic Frank. I like going by my initials. And yeah, the phones are working now. You call 415-861-6648. Michael, you've been waiting months to talk to me. I feel more comfortable in my t-shirt, but it's very humid. Excuse me, it's very humid. It's going to be raining tomorrow, Friday. Okay, I got so much to talk about. I've got so many notes here, but I want to first start out with the election here in California because this show will end up on YouTube. But before it does, it's here in San Francisco. Now, this is making me nervous. I don't feel comfortable in this shirt. Okay, I feel more comfortable here now. Excuse me. I believe we have a call. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Frank. If you want to get people to call, you better change your date.
My what?
Your date,
Oh, okay. What's the date up here? Oh, yeah, nine. Okay.
22.
Oh, okay. Well, it's too late now. The texts are gone. But thanks for that.
Well, remind people continuously through
I
the
will
show.
do that.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks. Nice hearing you. Well, we know the phones are working. That's good. So we're going to start. By the way, things have been really busy for me, and I usually watch Richard Rance. So that was the professor. He reminded me that, yeah, I got in last night, and it was just the last 10 minutes of Richard Rance. He's on the second and the fourth Thursday at 5 o'clock right here, on Wednesdays rather. And I'm here yeah, today is October 13th, not September 22nd. So, I guess we did some tech stuff. Well, we're human. We make mistakes, so please keep that in mind. So, yeah, the election is very soon. The election is very soon, and what's going on? We're going to start right off with it. It's got me most, and you can tell by my voice, that I'm really, really excited and really. I don't want to sound whiny, but this Prop 64, the legalizing marijuana thing. It's first of all, the title is very deceptive. Everybody comes up for me and they go, "We know you're voting for 64. You want legalized marijuana." Yeah, but not that way. Read it, read it. It's sponsored by the private prison industry, who's looking at 18 to 24-year-old children of color to fulfill their quotas. They're a corporation. Yeah, we got the wrong date on there. Oh yeah. So we're changing that right now. So yeah, it's definitely deceiving. I was walking down Market Street the other day with a buddy, Upper Market Street, and there was a nice young girl petitioning for someone, and I said, I'm voting for Jane Kim. I'm for Jane Kim, as is Richard Rance and Denise Dorey. By the way, look YouTube up Denise Dorey. Thank you, Jackie. If you see now, it's been changed. We got the right date, October 13th, 2016. Thank you, Professor. You say, what would we do without you, buddy? Yeah. So, and I said I'm voting for Jane Kim, as is mostly everyone, and also voting no on 64. And she goes, "What's that?" I said, "The cannabis thing." She goes, "Oh, I'm voting for legalizing marijuana." I said, "Well, haven't you read it? Have you seen who's sponsoring it?" And then I laid it into her, and I said, "No, please, 215 where it is now. We have to send that back to Sacramento, where they could come back with something reasonable. I'm not saying we don't need well, no restrictions. The cannabis industry definitely needs restrictions. We can't go along, right? Strip land, polluting waters and ruining the landscape. But whatever we do, bad farming. But it's got to be restrictions. We're saying that and taxes, but not this. This will triple the price of cannabis. But it's so discouraging because everybody in my orb, Denise Story, Axis of Love, Shona. Again, get on YouTube. Denise Dorey. YouTube. She has Shona, who's an expert on. She's in Sacramento already processing lawyers are already anticipating this is going to win, and they're going to, and even Bernie Sanders said if he lived in California he'd vote against the cannabis monopoly. And it's so deceiving because everybody just thinks, oh, and of course the National Democratic DNC most people just vote from that. They're old and they just trust that. They don't understand that the new DNC is bought and paid for. It's corrupt as the day is long. And the Harvey Milk Democratic Club, I could go on and on about all the people that call themselves a Democratic Club that want this to pass. And they're all gotten money. I know that for a fact. I know people on the inside who said they've all gotten, who said she knows people who've gotten paid off. She refused it. Can't mention names, but it's my heart beats so fast because since the '80s, since I started my doing healings, I've seen cannabis save lives. And myself, I was practically. Full-blown cancer where my liver was riddled with tumors, and today my liver is tumor-free because of cannabis. Every liver specialist knows that. Just the last couple of months ago, I hadn't had a wart in decades. I found a wart on my hand. And, I'm a healer. I don't want people going to having a sick person or any person I do healings on, see a wart hand coming at them. And I said, man, what could that be? Of course, they say warts are belief in ugliness and little acts of hate. And I said, man, what's that all about? Now I understand because I went to a friend's house who makes cannabis oil. He's a genius. And he gave me a little sample. And in his little apartment, I put like a little dab on it. And then I swear, as God is my judge, 2 hours later, I was on Market Street waiting for a bus. And I looked at my hand. The wart is vanished. My hand is wart-free. So, and I remember a couple of decades before, I had a stubborn wart on a hand, and it took, 3 dermatologist visits, and it was a nightmare. So, okay, let's get started, because there's so much going on. Let me get the mountain astrologer here. Oh, yeah, what's happening on the 19th? Pluto is going to be conjunct with Mars in Capricorn. And an update now, picture this, March 5th. This year, I said on my show, Mars just entered Sagittarius and is doing something very unusual. Every 2 years, Mars goes into a sign. It takes 2 years to go around the wheel. And very rarely does it spend 6 months in one sign. It goes retrograde back and forth in one sign. And it's doing this now in Sag. And it'll be over in September, as the end of September. And that's what happened. The end of September, Mars entered Capricorn, where it is now, joining Pluto. Pluto, the planet of death, destruction, and rebirth. 9/11, when the towers went down in New York City, that's what happened. Our ascendant, our rising sign, who we are, the ruler of our first house is 13 degrees Sagittarius. Pluto's so far out, I don't think any calculations are pinpoint accurate. And Pluto transited, so since our rising sign, so everything that's going on now is the Pluto-Uranus square. Uranus shakes, no pun intended, but Uranus shakes things up to liberate us. So what's going on the 19th, and that happens to be the day of the debate, the third and final mano to mano, mano to womano, mano to femina debate between the Donald and the Hillary. And I did say on my YouTube video, I made an 11-minute YouTube video. Yeah, go on Psychic Frank's Mystery School on YouTube, and you could see my shows that have been going on since August. But now the phones are working, so I'm hoping somebody's going to call today and interrupt me and let me do a reading for you. But I'm glad I got that out about Prop 64. No on 64. It's so deceiving. Please tell anybody you know. No on 64. Yes?
Hi, this is Michael Masoka. I think you mentioned me on the show earlier.
Michael, my man, I got your chart done for you.
Oh,
I had it done, and then what they did here was they changed providers, I hear, and the new phone provider was not, copacetic with ours. And anyway, we're back and running after, 2 months it took to get it there. Okay, buddy. Okay, you're born on March 20th, 1991.
Yes.
See, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I forget where and when, but I copied it. This is it. This is your chart. And okay, well, when your little baby lungs inhaled your first breath of air, what was coming up on the horizon was the constellation Scorpio. So you're deep, 27 Scorpio. Um, what's going on now is okay, so your sun's in Aries, 4 degrees in the fourth house. So you're very grounded. The home means a lot to you. You got a complicated fourth house. You're ruled by Pisces, but then you got that sun in Aries. So you're very, you have to have, you're very sensitive to your environment. You couldn't live in any kind of a harsh environment. You know, you get your spirituality from your fourth house. Just as you wouldn't go without food, water, or nourishment or sleep on a daily basis. Excuse me. You can't go a day without touching your fourth house. You've got mystical Neptune ruled Pisces ruling your fourth house. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I have no planets in that house." No, whatever rules that house cusp is that means a lot. Even means more if you have no planets in there. But not only does Pisces, that means you need a miracle every day. I think they asked Albert Einstein said there's two ways to live your life. One is if everything's a miracle, and one is like nothing's a miracle. It's like being a little pregnant. There's no like little spiritual. It's like all spiritual. And that's what's happening with Humara. Oh yeah, there's yeah. After I talk to you, I gotta hip you all to yeah. It's pronounced Haumea, Haumea. It's a dwarf planet like Pluto that was just discovered in 2003, and it's named after the Hawaiian goddess of childbirth, fertility. Its discovery symbolizes the birth of a new consciousness that recognizes both physical and metaphysical realities. And we're going to talk more about that. And they move rather slow, and with Uranus and Aries, and this is all in Libra, which is opposite your Mercury in your 11th house. The big thing for the next few years is giving love and receiving love. That's all about your happiness, all about the way you dive into things head first. I always see you all your life be surrounded by young people. You know, you're a good guy for starting things, but you need like people to finish it. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it really does.
Yeah, yeah. You need people. Hey, I started the orange. Why don't you guys finish it? You know, I'll start your orange for you, but you don't expect me to peel the whole thing, huh? I got other things to do. Oh yeah, you're Mars and Gemini. Gemini. I hate no insult, but more. Everything's got a shadow, and Donald Trump's a Gemini. Yeah, he's got a lot of Leo rising, but he's got a Mars and yeah, he's got this. Well, look at his chart in a minute. I have it right here. Yeah, he's a Gemini, total Gemini, and his South Node in Gemini. So he's been. That tells me he's been a liar for quite a. He's an accomplished liar. You don't get as good as a con man as Donald Trump in one lifetime. It takes many lifetimes. I mean, he was selling Persian carpets and with wooden ruples or something. He's a piece of work, isn't he? If we didn't have him, we'd have to invent him, But that's another story. Okay, yeah, your moon in Gemini. You're the young and the restless. The restless guy. Well, it's funny because my guides told me you got to talk about Pluto again because there's a lot of Pluto people are the ones that are going to survive this. And you are definitely a Pluto person because your rising sign, Scorpio, was ruled by Pluto. And then you've got Pluto in Scorpio in the 12th house. The 12th house is the house of metaphysics. It's the gold mine of the chart. And you have Scorpio rules your 12th house and your first house. So for you, you should never, after this conversation, go just to sleep anymore. You get into a habit of releasing the day and then choosing to go thank your guides, give your angels permission. They won't help you without your permission. Surround yourself with the love and light of the Holy Spirit, and then go deep. Go in. Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, all the big ones. They all are astronauts of inner space. Forget about outer space. All these people talking about colonizing Mars. Oh, don't throw the no Mars. There's a space between the big space between Mars and Jupiter or something. I forget. I'm kind of excited now, but if you look at all the planets in the Milky Way, you see they're all like pretty spaced out evenly, except this one big space between two of them. That's where there used to be another planet that blew themselves up. There's enough nukes on this planet right now. Under the right conditions, we could just boom, just so we got to start shaping up. It's not too late. It's not too late. Okay, so what we got here now? So yeah, well, you got you're rather young, so you're not even 29 yet. How old are you right now?
25.
Yeah, see, you got 4 more years for your first Saturn return. So, but let me see, but it's all about Pluto now. This Pluto, Jupiter, Pluto, Mars conjunction. I talk more about it on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, press like, and then press subscribe. And every time I'm in the mood, the spirit hits me, I just turn on the computer and tape a show and then put it on YouTube. My friend puts it on YouTube, and so you'll be notified when when I put something fresh on, and that way you'll keep up. So what on the 19th, the day of the last debate between Hillary and Donald, Mars will be conjunct Pluto, and Pluto never gives you gifts wrapped up in frilly paper. It's always, this muck, this vile muck we're being all subjected to. This is a rite of passage. Well, this all happens 15 degrees Capricorn. Now dig this. Your planet Uranus, I wish you could see this, the upside down lollipop, 13 degrees Capricorn 28. And then there's the Neptune, conjunct Neptune, 16 degrees Capricorn 32. And I just said Mars and Pluto are 15 degrees, sandwiched right in the middle there. You are opening up psychically, my brother. But until you're 29, as I said, that's when your life will really start, because you don't want to open too fast, or you go like you're dealing with Kundalini energy here, and your hair goes into Medusa snakes. Just as I said, keep on getting into the habit of working with that Pluto, Scorpio, and you're right. Every experience that you go, when you enter a scene, things change. You're literally a moth in the fabric of society, and we need our moths. Yeah, as I said, what Donna Cunningham said on page 17 about Pluto people. I think I grabbed the right magazine. Here it is. I'll repeat that after I finish talking with you, because you are totally a Pluto person. And Aries, see, Scorpio and Aries have a nice simpatico, because until Pluto was discovered, both Aries and Scorpio were ruled by Mars. And then when they discovered Pluto, they gave Scorpio to Pluto. And that's why, so you get along good with Aries. So your rising sign and your sun, even though they're not close together, they're actually probably squaring. They're doing something. You're got a lot of good ideas. You're the ringleader, you started it, but this is a good thing. We need pioneers. We need original thinking outside the box. Did you hear what I said? Tell everybody no 164. Everybody just thinks it's, everybody all the young people I know just say, oh, I thought you'd be for it, Frank. Yeah, I'm for keeping it the way it is now and send this atrocity back to Sacramento. It's a sadistic, sick joke. It's lacking empathy and compassion, which you have a lot of. Well, let me see what else we get here. Okay, so your sun is your purpose, your Mars is your method, and your Mars is, where is that Mars of yours? Mars is in Gemini 23 in the 7th house. You're charming. You've got a lot of charm. And that moon in Gemini, see, the whole thing about Gemini is you got the... Hello? You still there?
Yes.
Okay, the thing about Gemini, you got the two twins. One understands it's on an endless journey through eternity, and there's no way it's not going to survive its death. We're constantly evolving. We're in Earth school. Our time here is short. We shouldn't waste it. We should become perfect beings, mystical beings. That's why we're here. Everyone's a mystic. A mystic isn't a special kind of human being, but every human being is a special kind of mystic. Carl Jung achieved mysticism before he passed on. He died a mystic, which is that's my goal, and it should be everyone's. See, so one of them understands it's never going to die, and he knows we don't kill people when we think we kill them because all we do is prolong the karma, you know. So Shirley MacLaine said that. I love her. I love her. Anyway, so, and the other twin is totally on the other page. And every time that one, the healthy one, gets a good idea, the other one says, "What, are you crazy? You're going to get us killed. We're not going to do," you know. So by this stage of the game, though, you probably have those twins in the same circle. But that's pretty a lifelong thing, you know. And I'm not putting you down, of course not. But like if Scorpio shadow is jealousy, yeah, it's like we're going to get a Scorpio president with a Scorpio rising, Hillary Clinton. You and Hillary have not Sun in Scorpio, but Scorpio rising. She's got a few planets in Scorpio. I'll tell you about that later. So the shadow of Scorpio is, of course, everybody thinks of it as the sexual planet. Woody Allen, they asked Woody Allen if he thought sex was dirty. And he said, well, if it's done properly. I love that. Well, anyway, Scorpio, the strength of Scorpio is their ability to reinvent themselves whenever so I believe she will reinvent herself. We will make her reinvent herself. We will make her keep her promises not to frack and all this crap. You know, I think she'll do it. I think she'll do it. She wants to be a two-termer, so she doesn't want to upset anybody, and women are pretty much people pleasers. And she's ruthless. We need her. We need a ruthless broad in there. I'm all for it, you know. We could change her, you know, she could reinvent herself. Well, the shadow of Scorpio is jealousy. I've seen many people with Scorpio rising, Sun in Scorpio, and Mercury, Venus in Scorpio. Yeah, actually, Thomas More, the famous Thomas More, who wrote Soulmates, Care of the Soul, says we should have a jealousy czar. He's that convinced. After doing marriage counseling after he got out of the monastery, he's convinced that problems with the world are all about jealousy. Other countries jealous and envious of other countries. Okay, so you got that doorway. So everything. So you want to get maybe an image of Pluto, the myth of Pluto grabbing Persephone. She's in the garden, and the Lord of the Underworld says, "Hey, little girl, you want this flower?" And she goes, and he grabs her, and he pulls her in the underground. And the mother, says, "Oh, give me my daughter back." So anyway, they work out this thing, and that's why we have the 4 seasons. Well, I butchered up that myth, but you could read it, but it gets more complicated. But the whole thing is Persephone didn't mind. She wanted to go. She was going, help, get away. She wanted to experience that. She wanted to go and fall in love with the Lord of the Underworld. So it's a wonderful myth. And I hope I inspire you to do some research on that, because Pluto is your doorway. So a lot of times you'll find that image in a painting. It's an ageless, been written. It's been painted and sculpted since the beginning of art. People have, they've been doing Persephone and Pluto images. Anything that's going to remind, it's a fixed water. So how you get your way is by wearing things down. Like, look at me. I stuck around till all my competition died off. And I moved from New York here. I moved to a place where San Francisco's like a suburb of Manhattan. I figured, well, that would better my chances too, But as I said, Sylvia Browne told me back in 1980 that when I was 68, I'd be doing what she's doing. And I'm just about 68. Next month, I'll be 68. Okay, so there you go now. So let's see what's going. So, and your Venus, at the end of the day, everybody's got to be true to their Venus. And your Venus is in Taurus, 2 degrees Taurus. Venus rules Taurus and Libra, so in your romance house. So you want peace. At the end of the day, you want luxury. You like comfort. There's a wonderful poem in this Emmanuel book. I had this copy, and then I gave it away to someone years ago, like in the 80s. And now my guys tell me, you have to reintroduce her to the world. Pat Rodegeist is channeled. She was trans channelers, and she channeled this entity named Emmanuel. It's just so beautiful. And I think seeing as you're what is your life path? Let me see, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah, you're a mystical 7. Your first vowel is I. That Pluto in the 12th house. Uranus in the 2nd house, Neptune. You are totally psychic. So I'm glad you're going to be watching my YouTube videos. You're in the mystery school. To be one of the chosen, you choose yourself. Okay, but it says joy in your life. In your joy, you are celebrating God. You are celebrating the feast of life. It is not something to be denigrated on the grounds that there is more to life than pleasure. Most people call people hedonists or something. They have these words for people who live for pleasure. If it doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do it. Certainly, there's no more. There is more. There is an infinity of more. One is never finished with the process of growth, of seeking, servicing, and loving. The delight of the physical world or the delights of the spirit world. All is one. Your human joy will not take you away from your love of God. God is love. If you cannot tolerate human bliss, how will you withstand the bliss of eternal oneness? Good stuff, Maynard. If you were to check into the consciousness of a rock, you would find a great deal of pleasure there. You would find a sense of oneness that is comforting, a delight of being a rock. In the flow of its being, a rock is in a state of ecstasy. Ecstasy cannot be scaled on a rating from 1 to 10. It is ecstasy. But so many people are afraid. Why are you all so suspicious of joy and softness? Is this not also God's world? Joy is the natural ingredient of life. And your Venus knows that, and it's upset with you, and you won't do it. You won't make her have joy. So, you're you and as everybody else on the planet. We're so hung up on fear, and we forget. Well, I'll be raptured up, and I'll be joyful with Jesus. Slowly I turned. You human beings tend to be hurried and pressured and thereby deny yourselves the exquisite pleasure of savoring your lives. Life is fantastic. No matter what shape you're in or what you're dealing with. In this way, I threw that in, by the way. That's not Pat Rodriguez here. In a way, a great amount of joy and sweetness goes unnoticed. If life is lived with care and intention, it will give you the substance and richness you long for. Allow yourself to renew your commitment to your lives and to yourselves many times a day. You feel that because you yearn for the warmth and the softness of life, that this will somehow lull you into inactivity. There must always be a harsh outer reality to remind you of God. If you cannot trust beauty where you find it, how can you open your heart to oneness with God, which is eternal beauty? So beautiful stuff. I was walking by the Zen Center on Laguna Street, and my little friend who's visiting, I pointed out, I met a lot of Tibetan monks there and got many Tibetan initiations and got much wisdom in there. And one day I decided, I'm going to take the tour, because they have a tour of the Zen Center on Laguna and Oak, and it's a beautiful building, and the Shanti there is great. And I took this tour. It was like a $5 tour, and you go to this beautiful room, and they tell you sit there, and it's a rule room, RULE. Oh, I don't do rules. I went out of there as fast. I'm not going to have somebody come up and hit me on the back with a reed. I'll pick it up and chomp him with that. It's nonviolence. We don't hit people. Okay, let's get back to your thing. So make your Venus wanted me to. So that's Emmanuel by Pat Rodegeist and Pat Seaton. You can Amazon it. Yeah, because don't forget now, you're in a 5-year. This is a year of liberation for you. Bring some light blue into your life. Your midheaven, the fruit of the tree is Virgo. Jupiter is about to enter your 12th house. That's fun, and opposed, the opposite of Jupiter Libra is Aries. So Jupiter opposite your Mercury in Aries, it's actually the orbit starting to happen now. The opposition within 8 degrees is starting to happen, I believe, or soon will. So remember, Jupiter expands whatever you're focusing. So definitely get your affirmations right. And whatever you're thinking or saying is an affirmation. And I would suggest Louise Hay, this is a good one. I started the mystery school like you are, I guess now, in the early 80s, mid 80s. And I've been reading, and I met Louise. I just told one of the texts, I used to pay like $10, $15 and go to Fort Mason and sit in the audience and that's where I met Louise. I actually grabbed her one day by the arm during the break because I wanted to hear about cannabis, and I didn't want to, anyway, she approved of it. But now I don't know what's going on. The Hay House has been usurped from her, and they've got this horrible wretched woman on PBS. She screams about, you can't afford that. Susie Orman. She's like the anti-Louise Hay. That's why I know Louise Hay is probably dead, and this is an old lady they got to pose as Louise to make money off of Hay House or something. It's despicable, but we're not going to go there now. So your sun is your purpose, that Aries fire and passion. And your home is very important to you. That's where you re-nourish. And every day is a miracle. Every day, just like you wouldn't go without food, water, or nourishment, you can't go a day without. You can't go a day without. I suffer in the cards of my without touching that Pluto rising, your Scorpio rising. So every day, oh yeah, and being true to your Venus. Venus front and center. Let's go to work today. Are you having fun yet? Say your first name, please.
Mike?
Okay. And let's see what we got here now. So you're in a 5 month, this is a 5 year, 6 month. 5 and 1 is 6, and today's the 13. 6 and 4 is 1. So it's a 1 day for you. Thank you for calling. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's see what your chakras are showing me. Yeah, your Neptune, 10 degrees Pisces is just now 9 degrees retrograde, going from your 4th house to your 3rd house. The 3rd house is self-expression, where you have your Saturn in Aquarius, and yeah, you're way ahead of society. Yeah, they have to catch up to you. You have to dumb down your act to actually fit in. You're so bright. But then you have, Neptune on, where are we? Neptune. Here we go. Where is that mountain astrologer? Here we are. Here we go. Excuse me. Here we are. October 15th. So on the 15th of October, the Aries full moon, the sun will be 23 degrees Libra in your 23 in your 11th house, the house of receiving love, your place in the community, and the moon will be in 23 Pisces in your 4th house. But Neptune is retrograde. Let's see. Where's that Neptune? 9 degrees 34. So Neptune won't go back. I don't believe she'll go back into your 4th house. This is all Neptune's first retrograde in your 4th house. That's probably why we're talking. Neptune wants you to take advantage of the dream state. Neptune rules the 12th house. Neptune isn't the 12th house ruler of yours, but Scorpio is water and it's fixed water. So, you could move mountains. You could put windows where there were no windows, a door where there were no doors, by just allowing yourself to go into the school of the night and say, make opportunities. I will to will, thy will. I will to will, Jah will. Knowing that your created one mind's creation is for you is better than anything you could come up with, and. First chakra, yeah, I'm doing a lot of debauchery. It's a 1 day for you. Smooth sailing with money. Protect what's yours now. Valor, self-worth around the heart. You're a 7 life path, so go on the computer and look up numerology, 7 life path, and scroll down there and empower yourself. Anybody who's listening to that. In numerology, what we do is reduce the day and month to 1 digit, except for 11, 22, 33, 44. So you do your day, anybody's day and month reduced to 1 digit is how that person relates to life on a daily basis. Now, this particular year, not always, but because 2016 is a 9 year, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2016 is 9. 9 is completion. We add 9 to the day and month, and in Michael's case is 5, is 14, 5. So that's why I say this year is a personal 5 year. Now next year is 2017 will be a 1 year for the entire universe. The whole Earth here is going to have a 1 year, new beginnings. The drawbridge goes down. All paradigm changes. Things are happening. Remember, in astrology, The planets don't make things happen to you. They simply reflect what's going on. What's happening now was seeded in the 60s when Pluto, the destroyer, and Uranus, the liberator, were in Virgo, preparing us for where we are now. We are paradigm changing as things are happening, and they don't change like, like in the movies, like one scene and next scene they're all like celebrating. No, we're living through history now. This is an amazing time. Anytime's great to be alive, but especially now where we're seeing this, it's I believe it's going to get a little worse before it gets better, especially this post-election. Woo! But we'll get back to that. Okay, the chains are loose, the hands are free. Jupiter is in Libra now, opposite your Mercury. So make sure your affirmations are in two tenses. I am and I have. None of this I want, I wish, I'm trying. I'm trying is the worst. And every now and then I'll say that. I catch myself saying that myself. So just because I teach this doesn't mean I can do it, but it's a lifelong process. Now's the time, as I said, when you want to liberate yourself. Your chains are loose, the hands are free. So many people call me and they tell me, I'm on a fixed income, Frank. Well, who fixed it, honey? Martin Luther King said, like the cannabis laws, especially when I think of the cannabis laws, we have to go around. We have to go around things. Yeah. Are you single now? Are you in a relationship?
I'm single.
You're single?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see Cupid's arrow coming in for you. I see you doing much more traveling. Oh yeah, glad we saw that. Oh yeah, your North Node in the 8th house, in the second house. You can't look back for 1 second, or everything turns to garbage. You got to. I believe your fortune lies far away. I wrote down where you were born at. I have a copy of your chart on my files at home. Tell me again where you were born.
Like date?
Was it Beth? Where was it? Bethpage, New York?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Where were you born? What was the location of your birth?
Oh, the location?
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco. Well, do you think, because I keep on getting that, you need to be going, I wish you would stay here because I love this city, but opportunities might come up for you over the next few years to make a lot of money doing something somewhere else. Does that sound foreign to you? How are you supporting yourself now?
I'm sorry, say what again?
How are you supporting yourself now?
I'm home with my parents. That's about it.
I can't, you're drifting in and out. Excuse me?
I'm driving with Lyft right now, and I'm at home living with my parents.
Okay. A lot of people are doing that at your age. Well, I would, as I said, I believe your career house is, you're not lazy. There's no lack of work here, but you're definitely not going to be doing this the rest of your life. I believe you're, let me see what's going on here. Well, there's so many pioneering industries. Anything I say, I'm afraid might sell yourself short. Why don't we do this? Do what I said now. When you go to sleep, okay, now this is what I was going to say, and then I got a little sidetracked. Because of Neptune thing going in retrograde in your 4th house for the first time, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, because it takes like 80 years for Neptune to go around the wheel. Your Neptune, the subconscious, now write this, I hope you're writing this stuff down, or you could see it all on YouTube soon. Go on Google or YouTube and get Dr. Bruce Lipton, stem cell biologist who wrote The Biology of Belief. That's an amazing lecture. But then he has these 15-minute lectures. Listen to them all. They can't go wrong with any of them. But one in particular I want, because we're talking about the house of the subconscious, which is what's going on for you, starting to own that, is how to reprogram your subconscious. And your subconscious, he won't tell you this, but he'll tell you how to do it. I'm just going to add to that by telling you your subconscious everyone's subconscious is most fertile 2 times a day, when we're drifting off into sleep and when we're waking up in the morning. So as you're in between both worlds, and I've trained myself at night. As soon as I say I release the day goes out, and I'm out. Just saying it now, I'm holding back a yawn. And then I ask for guidance. I surround myself. I give my angels permission to heal and work out all the trouble. I don't take my troubles into the dream slate. I metaphorically wipe the slate clean. And as I'm waking up in the morning, I always start with gratitude. Life is wonderful. everything is perfect in this world, and I'm always moving into greater good. And then with Uranus and being so active now, and Uranus is all about unexpected, wonderful surprises that will liberate you, shake things up to liberate you. I always throw in, and every day brings unexpected, wonderful surprises. And you can't go wrong. So work on that. That's your homework assignment. And then call me in a month or so, and I'll have your chart with me, and we could talk some more. By then, hopefully hopefully by then you've gotten a handle on. I would being you're starting your life in many ways. That's what I'm getting, and you're liberating yourself. It's going to be the message I'm getting is it's going to be April of next year. It's a social year. It's a year of going out, and you're not a social person. You're pretty much a hermit. So this is kind of a stretch for you. But yeah, everybody sort of knows you're psychic, but you, so that's how it happened to me too. But no matter what you do, you can't push the river until you're 29. I love that saying, you can't step into the same river twice. Hercules or some Greek said that. I love it. People need to remember that, but I sidetrack. So definitely get that down. Your main focus. You're one of those souls that is so old you go from spring to spring. So in January 1st, yeah, there's an overlapping of your 1 year. I mean your 6 year, but there's still a little bit of that testing. I'm not trivializing this year. It's been a lot of fun, but it's also been a lot of testing. In Paris, I haven't been to Paris since 96. And I was amazed every morning. I was there for a month, April in Paris. Every morning, an hour of numerology and an hour of astrology. And until 9/11, I had a lot of French clients who would work at the UN. These French girls, they'd call me Franck. And I would say 5 would come up, and they'd giggle, and they'd say, "Oh, Franck," because they'd blush. I could feel the blushing on them, because 5 is all about sexuality, spirituality, and sensuality. If you've done your got organized and did the work and got the work thing down in your 4 year, you could have a lot of fun. So this 5 year is almost over. Next month's going to be 5, 8, power. 5, 6, 7. November's your wisdom. Now, I would make the effort and get this Emmanuel book. There's 3 of them. You can only one's out of the library I found in San Francisco, and you have to leave your driver's license or California there and just read it while you're there. But I've seen this book in many used bookstores in the Mission. I'm sure you could get it on Amazon. It's worth it. By Pat Rodegeist, Emmanuel's book. There's 1, 2, and 3. You can't go wrong with any of them. And I would just, like I told this tech that was helping me set up today, she says, let me see that pink book. This is the one. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And being like, you're not too thrilled with the employment, you don't want to do that the rest of your life. This is a good affirmation for you and for anybody looking for work. First of all, give thanks for it. Everybody's grateful at a banquet. Give thanks for it before it came. It means more. And recite every 500 times. I'm not throwing numbers around. I work at a job I love doing with and for people I like being around. And I make excellent money doing it. Now, under that awning, that leaves the universe a whole lot of elbow room to give you all kinds of great jobs. But you can't say, well, I said that affirmation, it didn't work. Well, how many times did you say the affirmation? 4 or 5 times. Try 500. When things start manifesting, I've said this before, it's worth saying again. When things start manifesting for me, I always say to myself, I just probably went from $499 to $500. So, here's the Ace of Pentacles. Be grateful for what you got. So many people have been talking to me this week and cursing confusion. I'm so confused. I was visiting a friend who's an artist, and this woman from San Jose was buying some of his paintings. And she kept on. I was there trying to wait for her to go so I can have a visit with my friend, and she kept on saying, She must have said it 60 times. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. So when she sent him down to his studio to get some more to look at. She was being a real nasty lady, but money's money, so he had to keep the customer satisfied. I would have thrown her out. So I looked at her and I said, if you climb the Himalayas. And we're told it was the wisest man on the planet hiding in this little cave, and you risked your life to go, get that wisdom. And when you got in there, he said, "Oh, my child, my beloved child, what can I do for you?" And you said, "I'm so confused. he'd say, "Oh, you got the Buddha mind. How wonderful for you." But see, here in the West, being confused is like a target, man. They'll get me. If I don't know it, make it up. Don't ever admit to being confused in the West because they'll get you. But in the East, it's an exalted state, which I believe in Eastern philosophy. Well, just like I do not believe in Western medicine, but I don't believe it's the whole answer. I think they're crazy with power, and it's got to be a mixture of Eastern Western medicine, alternative healings and whatnot, alternative healings and whatnot. So, okay, you're going to work on falling asleep and waking up. You're going to go to sleep anyway, but you start doing what I said now, and don't be surprised if you didn't get anything. Some of the stuff flew over your head because it's going to be on YouTube in a few days, and then you can watch it over and over again. This is your reading. You're my first YouTube psychic reading. I was hoping you were going to call today. That's why I had your chart with me the last couple of days. Well, I've been doing this for a while, but it really just started when they got the new SF Comics people in, and they got rid of the old ones, which were not working. I'm being so polite. Okay, yeah, you're going to work on keeping those Gemini twins in the same circle. You're a communicator and a pioneering communicator, so don't sacrifice your principles. There's a fat cat card. We did enough for today, my brother. Did you have a particular question you want me to answer for you?
No, you answered all of them. Thank you.
Well, keep in touch. And you want to get in touch with me, email me at psychicfranksmysteryschool@gmail.com. Just don't put a parentheses in the Franks. Leave the parentheses out. On the Mystery School on YouTube, it's parentheses. But, once you get it once. And don't forget, if you get on YouTube, press subscribe and like. And then every time I just... Oh, great. Okay. Okay, well, bless you. Namaste. Bye.
All right, have a good day, Frank. All right.
Thank you, Michael.
Bye, Frank.
Bye. Well, that was fun. Okay, so we got the Aries full moon coming up. Libra represents how we deal with opposites and opposition. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Frank.
Hey.
But before your show ended, I wanted to say I was very pleased to see your better half the other day.
Who was that?
You broadcast from home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. You saw Gabby.
Right.
Yeah, I am so feather-whipped.
So they say you never match the voice to the face when you meet the person. I wouldn't have matched Gabby to Gabby's voice that I've heard over the air,
Oh, she's a cutie. Yeah, she's 23. I adopted her. Kathy Acker, my dead friend Kathy, I love her so much. She called me from London. We were working on the Spice Girls interview. She was having an interview. And I told her, Madonna, my Finch died. And she said, Madonna's dead? I said, no, not Madonna, my Finch Madonna. So she said, you going to get another one? I said, no, I want a parrot. And then the next day, that bird showed up. And the rest is... And then Kathy died a few months later. It broke my heart.
Yeah, you should every once in a while do a show from home.
Well, a man... I do them, actually, in between. A man, Jason Sullivan, called me from Toronto, and we had a 2-hour interview on the phone. He's writing another book about Kathy, and because I was her psychic, and actually, in some of her books, she would just take her tape and give it to her editor and said, write that, copy that in there. So I'm in Queen of the Pussy Buyers and a few other of her books. Yeah, she wrote erotic fiction, Kathy Acker. I mean, God, I love that girl. I miss her every day when I play with Gabby. I miss her. I thought we'd be friends until we were old and gray. And God, one mind took her from us. But so yeah, Gabby's a love child. Gabby's my love child.
All right, I'm going to clear the phone because
well, thank you. I don't know why you reminded me. I guess talking to that Aries kid, because Kathy was my favorite Aries person. Okay, buddy, thank you so much for your support. Yeah, Richard Rance, the second and fourth Wednesday at 5 o'clock. I watch him. He's going to be, if you go to sfc.tv, go to the schedules for channels 76 and 29 and look for Richard Rance, Denise Dory. I don't know if Richard Rance, he should be on YouTube, especially the show he did the other night. I'm going to look for it again because I don't know who, Galaxy Chamber, my mind's a blank now. He and his girl. I remember his girlfriend Charisma. I forget his name right now. Anyway, he was calling in and telling, he studied it. I might even call him myself and bother him because I want to make sure I vote. There's so much going on. The thing for bring back trees. I'm a real tree hugger. We got to bring back trees. Okay, before I leave, this is why I want to say, we got to become the observer, the spiritual observer. That's what it's all about. Once we become the spiritual observer, I was asking my guys the other day what I needed to lay on you people, and they were telling me, so, excuse me. Okay, when you expand your consciousness, you activate the observer. We all have the observer within. We only got 49:50. We only got like 4 minutes, so I'll read fast. Many call it the witness within. This is the most extended aspect of self that is capable of standing and observing while the lower aspects of self, ego, experience and act out certain dramas. The realization and acknowledgement of a higher self, more expansive aspect of the self, is one of the first steps to expand your consciousness and ultimately towards more freedom and spiritual enlightenment. What you do what you feel in your heart, and yeah, Google up. Oh, we only got 2 minutes here. I'll be back here on God willing, on October 27th. Have a happy full moon. Hello, you got 2 minutes. Hello? Call back next week. Yeah, I really don't have time to take another call because I only have like 2 minutes left. And but I will thank you. This has been a great show. Well, I think I had a lot of fun here. I hope you did too. Be receptive. Most spirits always giving. People have their cup upside down every day. Turn your cup right side up. Most people are afraid to open up, to accept, because they're afraid if they open up, they might get something horrible, and they probably will unless they get rid of whatever is deeply embedded in their subconscious that's attached to gloom or doom. Now's a good time to get rid of that with Neptune retrograde, and vote no on 64. Watch Denise Dorey on YouTube. Find out the facts. Read. This prison. This is a trap. It's deceiving. 64 is not legalizing. It's atrocity. It's a slap in the face. It needs to go back to Sacramento and come back with some compassion, empathy, and not a sick, sadistic joke. It's a giveaway to Monsanto. It's horrible. It's horrible. We can't let it happen. And even if it does, San Francisco will be a sanctuary city, and lawyers are already chomping at the bit to keep this in litigation forever. It's horrible. It's a sick joke, and the DNC is horrible for even being part of it. I love you.